Welcome to Deep Thought. Build a community with positive energy people. Build a community with positive energy people. Now, I started off talking about the negative energy out here and then building an oasis. Now, understand one thing about me. And let me go away from the calm, deep thought, Rom. Let me get into more the man's channel, Rom, or even Rom Yo. When we talk about masculinity, men solve problems. See, I don't want to be that type who just talk about something. If I talk about something anytime, trust me, I got a solution, even if I don't present it right there. Either A, got a solution, or B, looking for some people to come up with a solution. Now, when I talked about this negative energy out here, I automatically got a solution because that's just my nature. I don't be sitting back like just complaining and say, oh, this is out here and walk away. Like, I'm going to give you an example. I never forget. I read this book back in the 90s, right? It was a fiction book. And if anybody know the situation back then, it was still coming off that waiting to exhale thing, right? The waiting to exhale thing was, the four women looking for, Mr. Right and everything, by Terry McMillan, waiting to exhale. Yeah, we won't get into that. We wouldn't get into it, but it set a precedent because it sold so much. People were doing something similar. So I remember there was a book, a woman wrote something similar. Instead of four women, though, it was like three sisters. Right? And there was a scene in there where the sisters were at like kind of a dinner party thing, right? And there was a bunch of people, talking. And they were talking about the relationship issues and all the problems. And then afterwards, they would say, well, they talked about the problem. They say, well, we're good. And it's like, man, please. And even though that was fiction, I've seen that happen in the real world from doing stuff, talking about relationships and seminars and private gatherings and everything. Right. So I was just like, I can't stand that. Right. So I'm always going to say, OK, here's a solution. So let me get back to deep thought, Ron. Anyway, you want to build that community with positive energy people. First thing is you start with yourself. You start with yourself and you try to keep the negative energy at bay. You want to build your oasis. You could even call it a sanctuary. You want to build your sanctuary against it, your fort, your boundary against the negative energy as much as possible. It's impossible to do it totally, because you still got to interact with people. And in order to build it totally, you would probably need an island somewhere that in a area that's not traveled a lot by human beings. You would have to probably buy it, fix up your own, build your own house and everything on it, and just be there and stay there, grow your food there. That's the only way you can avoid it totally. So you're always going to have it. So you start with the oasis within yourself. But then you start, and you can find some places that got some positive energy, but the best thing, honestly, is to build a community with positive energy people that's bringing your energy up. And a community starts with just the one other person. You don't need to have thousands or millions. It'd be nice. It'd be great, really. But you need to have your social circle full of positive people. That's a community. That's a community. The people you interact with, the people in your friendship circle, the people you shoot the breeze with, like you might text back and forth or call, right? You need to build that community. And the community is simple. It's just how you interacting with each other. It could be, y'all all meet at the bowling alley or something. That's a community. Or y'all all meet at maybe some place where they do pottery or something, or at the local coffee house, right? It could be like at the bread place. Y'all meet there, y'all have games and all of that stuff. That's a community, whatever you do. It could be like, I'm familiar with like a little small church community. It started out as a church, but like the members of it, because of some stuff, is even smaller, very tiny, maybe about 10 people. But they'll meet once a month. They'll meet at homes or do something together. That's a community. That's a community. I remember when I lived in Fort Washington years ago, I would have stuff at my house where we just get some people together. We just sit back and talk. We have some food for them and everything, and we just have a good time, right? That's a community. You want to build it though with positive energy people. See, that's the important piece. You need to really don't be that type that just want to have anybody, like, had a flyer out, just hang out with anybody. Some people will do that, but you got some negative energy there. As best as possible, if you're building, you taking the conscious act to build it, be picky about the people in it, and even let the people in it know. It's like, look, we just want a certain vibe in here. If you know somebody and they don't have that vibe, don't even tell them about this. Keep that to yourself. If you want to deal with them on your own time for whatever reason, it could be myriad reasons why somebody deals with a negative person. In fact, let me say that real quick. Sometimes you got to deal with them because that person's in your family. You got to work with them. You might be out somewhere. You got to do some business with them. Okay, fine. That's helpful. But if you have a community of people, they can help build your energy up to the point where the negative energy people don't really mess with you as much. Their actions don't bother you because it's like you're only dealing with them for a few minutes or limited. Whereas your community people, that's the people that you spending time with. That's the person they building you up. You feel empowered. Once you around that people, you feel empowered. You feel good. You're not stressed. You feel strong. You feel like you can go out and do something. And the thing is, reason why I'm saying build it is you can't always wait to find it. Like, it'd be nice if you can just walk into one, and if you can, that's great. Shoot, you don't have to do as much, but sometimes to solve a problem, you have to take some leadership, and it don't take a lot. There's a lesson I learned from my mother when we lived in first moved to Anacostia, Southeast DC, right? One thing she did, she actually kind of built a community. I saw it. I sat there and watched how she did it. Because she taught Bible study. She put together some flyers. She actually put together some flyers, and she put together some flyers in the neighborhood, put some stuff up, and she was teaching Bible study. And in fact, it even got to the point, it was like one of the older kids, they would take it seriously. Like me and some of the younger kids, we'd be playing around and everything, but some of the older kids take it seriously. She was actually teaching them how to read the Bible and everything. And then I remember also, like, and when we in this particular area, she it was like 4th of July and stuff, and she was one of the parents that was really leading like the 4th of July activities for the kids. But that was a positive area. Now, I know some people, they've heard me talk about some of the bad things over there, but this was before the bad things, in this particular street. It was like a little street. It was powerful. It was perfect, but it was positive energy. She just went and did it. You don't have to be educated to create it. You don't have to be beautiful to create it. You don't have to be that eloquent talker. You just got to be that person that just do it. All right? So build a community with positive energy people. Now, like I said, you can just work with them. You don't have to be the originator always. It'll help maybe. You might have to do it because it's not there, but you might see somebody else doing it. Then it's like it's still building it if you bring it in, because you bringing in something to it. That's the key thing. You bringing in something to it. You bringing something to it. You adding to it. You can bring a new element. You can introduce something to it because it's all positive. Because the thing about positive energy folks and communities, it's always growing. Like I got a few communities now. Community is important. Community is important in this world with all this negative energy around, the sea of negative energy or desert of negative energy, however you want to call it, or just pure energy, period. You need that positive energy in your life, and you need to start with yourself and then have a community. So that's all I have for today, y'all. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.